that's what LinkedIn says. And it's true. It's one side of my life. My family is probably the most important part of my life. Everybody stand up for a moment. And as you stand, I want to tell you that I'm grateful for your attention today, and I'm going to give you all I have to share from a marketing perspective. I hope it's beneficial. I hope it provides value. When we talk about marketing, there's something very important to realize about marketing. That's connection. So I'd like you to turn to one person, look that person in the eyes. So just find somebody, look in the eyes. And try to lock with somebody, look that person in the eyes. I know it's awkward. See if you can withstand it. I looked away first. I know. So you guys can calm yourself and look back at me. I think people forget about connection. I think that they often just forget about connection. So what I want you to do is I put whiteboard markers on your table. So these you can pop off the top, right on the whiteboard. I'd like you to write one company in your mind that their branding, their marketing, their promotions, their social media sites, their products connect with your soul. So I don't care what company it is, just any company. So you have this whole whiteboard section. So as you guys go over there, I'll introduce myself a bit more. And the reason why I'm asking you to do this is I want to connect with you. I want to know what company or companies in this classroom really stand out. So if you can all just go to the whiteboard right now. You just write down a company name. And I'm going to reference some of these companies as we go through this class so that I can be sensitive to the different organizations that have actually impacted the folks in this room. Soul Cycle. My name's Ian. Nice to meet you.
We're just writing anything.
So as you take a seat after you write something down, you can take a look at this image. I put these cards down on your desk. So these cards have the same image that's on the screen. And what it is, it's Times Square, except for it's Times Square with some of the logos of companies that we've launched out of our office or companies that we have served and helped rebrand or catalyze a new expression of their brand. And so as you look at Times Square, has everybody been to Times Square? Who's been to Times Square before? Okay, not many of you. It's a very overwhelming experience because many of these companies that are written here will kind of assault your senses in Times Square with imagery and video, and all these different things are just kind of coming at you. And when we sit down with somebody and we talk about marketing, it doesn't matter if it's a small service company in a little town or if it's a national or international service company or product company. Everybody has the same desire, right? They want to create value in the lives of their clients. They want to make a great profit. They want to build a business that's fantastic for employees to work at. They want partners to be happy that they're partnered with their company. Everybody ultimately has a very similar goal. But one goal on branding is your branding built in such a way that you'd be proud of it to be in Times Square. So these are some of the folks that we've done work for, and we'll reference I will reference some of these projects today. And then the card is on your table. I'm going to give you some examples of different ways that we do physical branding. I'm primarily a digital marketing, digital promotion, digital advertising person. And my focus is really bringing together really smart and intelligent and aggressive and risk-taking people. And then putting them in a team and letting them go crazy and build great things, do the best work of their life. When I have to sit down and work, I pretty much don't ever get anything done, right? I mean, what I'm good at is kind of casting a vision and sharing the big idea. So today I hope to share some big ideas with you that might give you a different picture of what could be. We'll probably come back to this picture, but I want to show you a couple other things that will help you get to know me. This is my family. So that's my wife and my 2 boys, and that's the most important organization I've ever started. It's the most important organization I'll ever maintain. If everything else fails and I go bankrupt and I lose everything, it doesn't matter. What matters is that I'm serving the one organization that I'm only responsible for. There's no partner to bring into this one, right? It's just my responsibility, my family. This is my office. When you walk into my office, we probably should have the song Welcome to the Jungle playing at full blast, but we don't. But you do see the jungle and you see the gorilla on the wall. As you walk through, you will see the Times Square image, and then you can kind of see this space that we've created. It's a very creative space. Ping pong, we probably play too much ping pong. And so that's my environment, right? That's what we do. And we're down in Scotts Valley. And so I like Scotts Valley because I raised my family in Santa Cruz County. I like the ability to raise my family right there by the beach in this kind of beach community, but I can easily get over to the Silicon Valley in 15 or 20 minutes, or my clients can get to me there at my office. This is my company, and I may go through some of the stuff that we actually do as an example of marketing for the purpose of how we position ourselves as marketers, and also just how we do marketing in general. This is what I call the brand marketing outline. You've probably maybe read the book, Lean Business Model Canvas or Lean Startup. There's all these different ways of how quickly can you get to the big idea? How can you pinpoint who you really are, what you need to do, how to build a minimal viable brand or a minimal viable marketing plan. And so we walk through this stuff with our clients. So let me pop back up to here. It's going to let me. So let's look at some of these brands that you wrote. SoulCycle, Samsung, Tesla, Apple, Balmain, H&M, Apple, Samsung, Microsoft, Lamborghini, Apple. Apple's affected us a lot. There's a couple Nikes over there, another Apple. So these are companies that folks in this room feel have emotionally connected with you in some way. I compare marketing and sales in this way. Sales is a person's ability to sell a business or a service or a product to one person at a time, right? So I can sit down with you and we can sit down and talk about whatever product that you want me to get engaged with. And you can sit down with me and you can convince me hey, this is the greatest product, this is the greatest service, you should be, and then you'll sell me on that. Or maybe you want me to go to the restaurant that you want to go to, or you want to go take me to the movie that you want to see. And so that's sales, right? When we get everybody around us or a person to go do what we want, we've sold them on that idea. Marketing is the ability to basically sell lots of people at one time without being in front of them. Okay, when you sell somebody, you have to actively be present. When you market to a people group, you've done work and it continues to work for you as marketing. So that's a good way to think about marketing versus sales. Advertising would be something that you actively pay for to market people, but as soon as you stop paying for it, it stops as well. Okay, so when you want to break down, marketing is something that you can put out there that can go on with or without your money. It's just kind of the big category. You break down marketing into advertising, which is something you pay for. As long as you're paying for it, it works for you. And then branding is something that you do that should work for you forever until you rebrand or rechange. So that's kind of how you break up these different sectors. When you look at some of the things that you see up here, there's lots of visual imagery. You have to figure out a way to tell a story with somebody, with a company, and be able to kind of get that across to folks. So some of these business names that are up here, can some of you kind of tell me why you wrote that business name up there and tell me why you feel connected to that company? Anybody?
I wrote Nike and I feel like Nike has all line of projects that I will use.
Yeah.
Like skateboarding, soccer,
Yeah.
athletics.
Right. Great. Anybody else write a name up there? Yeah, please.
I wrote GoPro.
Yeah.
And the way they market themselves is through videos, mostly action stuff.
Right.
I've been doing extreme sports my entire life, which is kind of why I identify with them.
Yeah, awesome.
I wrote Soul Cycle because it's one of my favorite workout classes. But
Awesome.
I think it's interesting kind of the way they market themselves because they don't really do much advertising. It's all kind of like cult following, which is a little creepy, but
Right.
tons of people do it, and it's amazing because like every time I go to a class, every single bike is filled.
Hmm.
It's insane, and it's just like, you know, they have celebrities who do it, and so people are like, oh my god, that's awesome. It's like
Yeah.
it kind of like turned into this like huge brand,
Yeah,
you know, and it started in like a garage in New York, so I think that's pretty cool.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I read the Samsung, Microsoft, Apple. They're sort of like a competition against each other. Samsung phone can offer you the waterproof device. Like you put your phone in the water for like a 30 minutes, it's still working. But Apple oppositely doesn't work. I don't think they have waterproof that function. And Microsoft, Apple, they did like a advertisement about like Microsoft is trying to install Apple in that advertisement. Like Microsoft laptop can not laptop, tablet. You can like take that part away from the other part. But Apple, you can't really do that.
Right.
And Lamborghini is a very cool car.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Yeah. Sorry, Hi there. How you doing? My name's Ian.
Hi.
So we wrote some names on the board talking about companies that have emotionally connected with us for a sense of marketing. Anybody else write a name up there that maybe you want to share how you feel connected to that company? Yeah.
I wrote down the Red Bull.
Yeah.
Because I think it's pretty emotional brand. It's a energy drink, and it also sponsors a lot of powerlifting competition. So it also has many like motivated advertisements that encourage people to do a lot of workouts.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to stop throughout our time together and just kind of field questions if you have any. And the reason is I'm going to go over a ton of content. And if I just keep going and going, there may be things that you're wondering right now that I can answer for you or we can chat about. I hope this can be kind of an open forum. Probably going to chat with you, maybe an hour and a half, and then we can stop and we can get out before the class actually ends. But I don't want to just kind of give you just a shotgun of constant information. So I've gone over some of the things that I've broken down sales and marketing. I've broken down marketing as advertising and branding. There's more segments to it, but those are some things. I've talked a bit about some of the companies that we've launched out of our space or kind of how we go through some process. Is there any questions before you get to know me more, before I dive into things more, is there any questions that anybody has that you just want to have a conversation? Yeah, what's your name?
Sigourney.
Sigourney? Okay.
It's really random, but was the gorilla on time? Was it?
No, these are all
Okay.
superimposed.
Okay.
Yeah, superimposed logos. So we did this as an example of, we never wanted to create a logo for a client that we didn't feel proud of and we didn't feel was worthy of being shown to the whole world. That was kind of our way of putting pressure on our designers. Any other questions? Anything you guys want to talk about? Yeah? Okay. Let's walk through some stuff. So I'm going to show you some websites that are examples of So I'm going to show you a couple examples of a local service company just serving one town. I'm going to show you a couple examples of software companies that are building national and international software companies or software products that they have to market. And I'll show you a couple examples of product companies. So New Habitat, this is where I got all my practice, was New Habitat Incorporated. My dad started New Habitat in 1976. He's a carpenter, so he took a hammer, he took nails and wood, and he put them all together and made houses, right? And so he wasn't a marketing guy, and so when I got started with New Habitat, I was just a laborer, right? I was a young guy, and he'd say, okay, take that pile of wood and move it here, and I move it back, and dig a hole and fill it up. So I learned how to kind of put houses together, and eventually I wanted to be able to work with my mind instead of my body, and so I started doing this. I practice building websites from the Habitat and doing different marketing campaigns for him. And so this is kind of my practice ground. And I found that what I found over time is that this is the type of structure. I haven't really updated the site for 3 years or so, but this is the type of structure that really works good for a small local business, right? If somebody wants a contractor in Santa Cruz County, and they go to Google and they type in Santa Cruz contractors, Santa Cruz general contractors, remodel my house, Santa Cruz, they want to know some certain things, like, do people like them? So in the top left, you have the 23 reviews of people giving reviews. They want to know the phone number. How do I get a hold of this person right now? They want to know, like, tell me about your business, so there's a video. And they want to fill out a form, like, hey, I'll take a free estimate. So this is an example of a small business and how they might go through the process of doing marketing in a town. Another example would be my friend Kevin, who owns Pacific Motor Service. Now, he has 2 or 3 locations that does auto repair in Monterey County. And for him, the same exact things. He has to make sure they have his phone numbers, that they have his locations, that they know that he has good reviews, and that they can find out about his information. And for him, he has to give some sort of discount or coupon, because if he doesn't, somebody will go on to Yelp, or they'll grab the newspaper, or they'll find somebody that'll give him a better deal on an oil change. And so this is how he gets folks in the door. Has anybody in this room done marketing for a small local business before? Is there a small, okay, let me ask you this. Is anybody from San Francisco here? You're from San Francisco? You are? Okay. So give me a name of a local company, a service company in San Francisco that you and your family have used over time.
I don't actually have an answer for you.
Okay, well, think about it. Is there any company that's a service company, auto repair, veterinarian, chiropractor, plumbing, roofing? Yeah.
One of them in San Francisco,
Sure.
but Half Moon Bay.
Yeah.
Harlow's Auto Body, they're like our family mechanic.
Okay, yeah. So like that's an example. So you know about Harlow's, but let's say somebody moves to Half Moon Bay, they don't want to live in the city, but they want to go to school here, and then they need auto body, or they need auto repair. Like, what is Harlow's going to do to tell that new person, you should come give us a try over somebody else? This is the most important area of marketing. Very few people will ever do any marketing for Nike or for GoPro or for Apple. Like, these are these brands, you have to really work your way up to ever be able to do marketing for a company like that. However, Harlow needs help, right? So Harlow, you may learn something in this class, maybe not this class that I'm teaching, but this class in general in this semester, that you may see Harlow and say, hey, you ever thought about this? And they are the ones that really need the most help. Supposedly there's 50 million small businesses. And so if there's 50 million small businesses, then that means that you're talking about a massive need for people to figure out how to tell their message without having to meet one-on-one to sell people on their services, but be able to market them. And that's an international estimate that I actually heard this morning. So I have no idea if Andrew from Business Apps is right, but if that is wrong, it's his fault. So this is the most important type of marketing, because this is the type of marketing that you are going to do in your future. If you're at a company, if you get hired at a mid-level job and there's some sort of marketing needs they have, or if you start your own company, these are the types of things that you're going to have to figure out is how do you reach a small group of people with your message. The next is software. So Kukui is a company I started in 2010, and we built a software tool that allows different small businesses to manage their website and their text message marketing, their email marketing, postcards, ties to their point of sale system. And ultimately, it's one platform where people can get all their marketing done and ties into operations. Now, we had to figure out how to sell this product. So it started off with me selling, not marketing. So I would go with an iPad, and I'd walk into these different potential clients, and I'd say, hey, you should hire us. We have this great software, and we're $1,500 a month. And you should pay me $18,000 a year to handle your marketing. And people said yes, which was very nice of them to give us a chance. And now we don't really sell like that. Now we market. Now we have all sorts of people coming to us because of what we've done, and then people come through the funnel and they say, I want a demo, and then somebody gets on the computer and markets to them. And we have to market to a national audience, and then now we're wanting to market into an international audience as well. And the company that's taken this to a further extent is HubSpot. if there was just a couple companies that I could tell you about that do marketing well and help other companies do marketing well, HubSpot is one of those. Is anybody familiar with HubSpot here? Anybody ever heard of them? No? Okay, well, I would suggest maybe take a look at HubSpot. They've kind of invented the term inbound marketing, although that's not a new way of doing marketing, it's just a thing that they phrased. And what that says is that inbound marketing is people coming to you because of blogs that you post, or because of social media that you post, or because of viral videos that you create. It's people contacting you because they're interested in you instead of you going after them. And so that's HubSpot, and they've gone public. They're a multi-billion-dollar company now, all with the same exact idea. Let's build a product and sell it to small businesses. Another product is that we've worked on is called Hand Snap. So this is a hand snap right here. I have it on my hand. So I use the hand snap to attach my phone to my hand so that I can easily get work done, and I don't have to get my phone out of my pocket. It just lets me use my phone better. It's also easy to take off, so if I don't want to have it attached to my hand, I can take it off like that. But the inventor made this specifically to stabilize film footage. So the whole point was he's in a band, and he wanted to be crowd surfing, and he wanted to be able to capture himself, in the moment, crowd surfing while he's singing. And then his friends want to be able to do rock climbing and hold on to it, or want to be able to skate and hold on to it. And so this is a product. Now he has to figure out how to tell the world about this product. So I'm telling all of you, it's on Kickstarter. Go buy HandSnap right now. See, that's like another 30 people that can get HandSnap. We're all working together to make this happen. So HandSnap is a product that's brand new, and he has to figure out how to tell people you should take the HandSnap and attach it to your phone. Another product that people have been very excited about that we launched out of our office is called the Hoverboard. Now, the Hoverboard, we've had Mashable, TechCrunch, CNET, ABC, Discovery, and a bunch of other people and companies feature it. And it's been a really fun product to launch. And as you can see, this is the product that she's holding. You can see it kind of breaking up. And so this product is pound for pound the most powerful electric vehicle made. It goes, the beta board that we're releasing first goes 20 miles an hour, and it will go approximately 20 miles in one charge, and it will charge in approximately 20 minutes. Pretty incredible. There's some different versions of the product. It's a very expensive product, so not necessarily something that most students would be able to purchase, but eventually the price point will come down, whether Hoverboard does it or it's another competitor, but eventually this type of product will be available for people. And it kind of has that Segway wheel. It has a clear wheel, so it looks like you're floating. It certainly feels like you're floating or surfing on land. It has the lights, it kind of lights up, and Bluetooth speakers. And then it has sonar on both sides, so it tells what's coming up. So it kind of has predictive technology to make sure if you're going to go over a rock or a bump, it slows down or speeds up. So this is also a very cool product. Now, how did they tell the world about the Hoverboard? Like, how do you do that? How do you go through the process of marketing a product like the Hoverboard? And before you can go to market, you have to decide, what is our name? What is our slogan? What is our logo? What are we going to put on social media? What's our brand? And how are we actually going to go through the process of creating a website, selling this product? There's so many things to answer around that. This is our company, Guerrilla Branders, and so our kind of thing is the art of branding, the science of technology. We hope to discover what our client needs, design that, and then develop it, and then ultimately deliver it. So that's kind of like our statement that we tell the world. So let me ask, who would like me to go through the process of how we've done branding for a small business? I showed a couple examples. There's New Habitat and Pacific Motor Service. Or I can walk through the process of how you market and brand and do advertising for a software business like Kakui or HubSpot. Or I can walk through a product business like HandSnap or Hoverboard. Is there any preference? Product, national business, or local business? First person to say it, that's what I'm going to do.
Local business.
Local business? Okay. So where are you from?
From the East Bay, Concord.
Okay, Concord. And so is there a business in Concord that stands out to you that's a local business that maybe you and your family have always gone to?
Yeah, maybe it's like a little sushi restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Toga.
And how long have you been going there?
Since the beginning of high school, so 7 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you just stumble upon it one day, or how did you find out
I
about the
think it
place?
was a friend.
Okay.
Yeah, through a friend.
Have you told other people about it?
Yeah, I brought my friends from college to there.
And you ever thought about not going there any longer? Like you said, I'm done with this place. The food was bad this time. That's always good.
Yeah.
Okay. And what do you think they've done to kind of reinforce their marketing to you and to other people that are in Concord?
To me,
Sure, just people in general. Like when you go there, you're like, the place is super clean, the servers are nice, or no, they have great reviews on Yelp, or they have. What is it that stands out to you about them, besides maybe just the
probably
food?
just like the quality of the food. I know every time I go there, I'm really like satisfied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have any desire to start a small business or work for a small business in the future?
Maybe not starting, but I can see myself working for one.
Okay. So, like, if you could work for any type of small business, what would that be?
Maybe something in the service industry, like a restaurant. Or,
Okay. Great. So, restaurants. Restaurants are one of the hardest businesses in the world to launch, start, operate, especially take it to where it's actually profitable. Or like there's this new movie out, Burnt, kind of talking about the process of building a 3-star Michelin restaurant, maintaining that, the level of intensity that it takes to do something. But a lot of people start restaurants or work for a restaurant as a busboy, a server, a manager, and they will get a lot of experience about serving a lot of people at one time. The cool thing about a restaurant is you can just kind of learn what it is to serve people. People come in and out. They even call you a server. Like, so you're in that mode in your mind that I am a servant. I am here to take an order, to tell the cook what to make, and then to deliver that and give the best possible experience. And I'm so focused on it because it also depends, my income depends on it. If you are a bad server, you may not get a good tip. If you are a great server, you may get a great tip. So there's also a reason to be a great server. Now, a server can't do their job alone. Even a cook can't do their job alone. There are some elements of branding, marketing, advertising, promotion that the company itself has to do in a restaurant. There has to be a name. There has to be set hours that people can depend on. Probably a website, probably some sort of connection to the digital platforms. And people have to be able to kind of, when you tell people about it, they may want to check it out, right? You may have told friends that didn't go with you, but maybe when they're over there, they're going to say, oh, I'm going to go check that place out now. So let me walk through an example of one that I know pretty well. So this is Kevin, my friend Kevin in Monterey. He has Pacific Motor Service, okay? Now, Pacific Motor Service has been around a long time, 1947. He bought the company, and then he kept the same name, but he retooled everything that Pacific Motor Service does. And as you can see here, 1,470 testimonials. There'll be very few small businesses ever that will get over 1,000 people to actually write a testimonial for them on their website or write a testimonial for them on their email. So there's 2 ways they collect testimonials like that. He has 2 locations. It's one thing to run a profitable business. It's another thing to open a second location, or in his case, he's even opened 3rd locations, then sent, basically given the company to his employee or employees, or sold it to them. And then you can kind of see 68 years in business and a couple things that he leads with. Now, I haven't done this today, so we'll see how it works out. But let's say we're looking for Monterey Auto Repair. So he buys AdWords. So he's the second person on the list. Don't tell Kevin I clicked on this. It's going to cost him a couple bucks. So he buys AdWords, and you can see that even the deal changed. So now it's smog check and $50 off labor. Why? Because the last time I think it was like $10 off or 10% off. He knows that people, they either need a smog done or they want a really great deal on their labor. And so he's trying to lead with his very best deals because he just paid for an ad placement. And so people land on this, and then Google tracks all of it up on top. So Google knows the conversion rate. Now, what people don't know, especially small businesses, is the people on top don't always pay the most money. The people on top on Google's rankings that pay for the ads, they have the best conversion rate. So right now, Google is tracking my computer, and Google's telling, like basically, do I leave this site right away, or do I stay? Or do I navigate? So if I start going through here and I click, I'm looking through and I say, I want to learn more. Now all Google says, oh wow, this ad must be working because we sent this person to the site and they actually went to the second page. So now that gives his ranking better ranking. And so this is basically the game that people play on Google now. It's not just about how much money can you spend. It's about how does your ad convert. Now, if Robert's Auto Repair spends $10 for a click and Kevin spends $2, he still might be below them. But people pay for these clicks. Now, the nice thing for a small business is they can figure out exactly what it costs to bring a new customer in the door, and they know how much a new customer brings them. So in Kevin's case, an average new customer is like, let's say $450 for an average new customer that needs real auto repair done. So he may figure out that if he spends $150 on Google, in addition to all the marketing he does as it is, he can get a new customer. He knows that a certain percentage of customers are going to come back. So then he can figure out how can he scale his company. And so this would be an example of how he can do that. Now, there's Google Maps, then Yelp comes up, and then all of the other traditional listings. Now, there's also, people may look for like specific auto repair to be done. So let's say it's like, VW auto repair in Monterey. So here it is again, except this is going to go to his VW auto repair page. So if I click on this, the deals will be VW, and the whole page will change to the VW content and landscape. He also made it on the map here, so you can click on his website here. And then he also has his VW. So here, if you look for VW Auto Service in Monterey, he's in 3 places. He's on the ads, he's on the maps, and he's on the normal search rankings. But when you click on his ad, it doesn't just go to his normal page. So here, free safety inspection on Volkswagen, and Volkswagen repair $50 off. Just imagine, you're in a VW. You've never been through Monterey before. You're driving through Monterey, and something's going weird with your car. And you think to yourself, what am I going to do? And you go on Yelp, or you go on Google, or you go wherever it is that you do your searching, and you search for VW Auto Repair in Monterey. This comes up, you click on it, and you see a free safety inspection on your kind of car, and $50 off a repair, and you think, what, 1,400 reviews? Obviously. They have 2 locations? I mean, I got to go see these guys. That's what a small business is supposed to do. Like, this is pretty close to the pinnacle of what a small business can do when it comes to marketing for people that just are visiting town, or specifically also for people that live in a town. So, through the content I just shared about what Kevin does at Pacific Motor Service, are there any questions that have come up about the stuff that I've reviewed with you? If you had a VW and you're driving through Monterey and you land on this page, would this be enough information for you to feel like it's worth giving them a call to see if they're the right place to bring it into? Yeah. But that's not enough. Marketing is never enough. So what happens is people answer the phone, right? And then you are going to judge the company based on, is the person friendly? Do I actually feel like I trust this person? Do they give me a weird gut feeling when they answer the phone? So what we did at Kukui is, you can see these numbers up here on the top right. These are not their phone numbers. So these numbers randomly change, okay? And so what happens is we track that this person wrote VW Auto Repair in Monterey. We track that person. The phone number changes when that's written. And then when you make that call, it will say this call has been recorded for customer service purposes. And then the person will answer. Now what happens for Kevin at Pacific Motor Service? He knows that all of his employees that answer the phone, that they're going to be recorded. They know they're going to be recorded, so they are always trying to be really friendly. And they're always trying to do the best possible service, right? And then when they get the call, we're recording it and we're checking conversion rates. So when he first started working with us, his conversion rate was, let's say, 70%. Well, if 7 out of 10 people that call come in for service, if he can get it to 80% or 90%, that changes everything for his company in terms of profit margins, because he doesn't have to hire more people. He just has to do it. They just have to do a better job on the phones, right? So there's so many elements that come to kind of a local marketing and branding when you do stuff like what he's doing. When also you look at this page, not only are the coupon, yeah, please.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So this is an independent auto repair service.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm just curious, why people go here to repair their car instead of going to dealership?
Oh, that's a great question. And that's something that he has to answer, right? So let's say you're in Monterey and you think to yourself, is there a VW dealership in Monterey? So you may want to go there, but his response would be, I have the same parts available. I have as good or better mechanics. I've been serving the local community independently without having a connection to the main company since 1947. And I'll give you a better deal and I have better reviews. And you should trust me. Now, when you go through this page, you can even see that he basically tells this story. So this whole page is all built around Volkswagen and getting work done in Monterey or Pacific Grove. So this whole thing is all telling that story to basically say you should come to us instead of a dealership. But ultimately, some people are going to always go to a dealership and he will never reach them. And some people will always be open to just getting a cheaper price or potentially a better service. And those are the folks that he's trying to reach. Yeah.
And this auto repair shop is only for the car called VW.
Oh no. So what you'll see here is he has a special page for every type of vehicle. So every type of domestic, Asian, exotic, and European vehicle, he's built a specific page for every single page. And anytime somebody types in one of these car names into Google or into Yelp or into Yahoo or into Facebook, they will find a very special page that's been built just custom for that company with custom coupons with a different phone number to track how the company actually does. And it all ties to his point of sale system so he knows how much revenue he actually makes through this experience. And in my opinion, this system that Kukui built is the reason why Kukui is the fastest growing company in San Jose. Because no software company has ever built anything this easy for a small business owner to use or this complex in terms of a system for small businesses. This type of software is only built for enterprise companies that have a 7 or 8 figure budget to build things this complicated. But it certainly has been great for the 700 or so clients that we serve at Kukui. I'm no longer at Kukui, by the way. I was there, started at my friend's house 2010. 2013 I left, and I've done some other things since then, but I'm a big fan. Go Kukui. And I'm a shareholder, so I obviously want them to win. Win! Make my family some money. In addition to vehicles, they also have services. I'm looking for, is it specials? Huh. Okay, yeah, go ahead, you have a question. Oh yeah, here we go. So like he has a brakes page, tire page, 30,000 mile service page. So see, he has all these different pages for each thing. And you can kind of go as far as you want with this idea of basically customizing the story. And you don't have to be, some massive you don't have to be Microsoft or Nike or Procter & Gamble or Apple to be able to do this type of branding and marketing and advertising and promotion and thoughtfulness. You see, this is the real truth about this type of marketing. It's sensitive toward the customer. It's thoughtful. It means that when somebody's in Monterey and they have a VW and they don't know what's wrong with their car, when they type something in, they don't just go to some random auto page. They go to a very specific page that's going to make them feel catered to. Yeah.
So you helped build this system for this company, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you know the approximately cost per conversion?
Yeah, good question.
Rate?
So I know it's changed, but here's the experience with Kevin. Okay, in 2011, I walk into Kevin's shop, and my pitch at that time, we didn't have any customers, and we actually didn't have a product. It was all a figment of my imagination. I walk in and I say, so we're only going to have one auto repair shop in Monterey, and you could be that person. And well, what does it do? I'm like, well, what software do you use right now? He's like, well, I use DemandForce for email marketing, and I use CustomerLink for postcard marketing. I use ReachLocal for AdWords. I use Synergy for websites, and I use ROWriter for my point of sale system. And none of the 5 companies talk to each other, and none of them get along. And I am frustrated. I don't know what the hell's going on. And I'm like, oh, that's perfect. We do everything those 5 companies do, which we didn't even have a product. He's like, really? Well, how much is it? I said, well, it's $1,500 a month. And I need a first and last month payment. So I need $3,000 today, and I won't be able to deliver for 90 days. So I did that in like 10 towns, and I got 10 people to say yes. And then I went back to my partner, I'm like, hey, you need to build a product that basically does what these other 5 companies do. He didn't think that was a great idea, but they somehow figured out how to make it happen, right? Because when a sale is made, usually the rest of the company will rise to the occasion of a customer saying, I need that. And what Kevin needed one system that worked together seamlessly, that did everything that his 5 vendors did, but those 5 vendors didn't really talk with each other. They didn't have a system in place to build this like kind of seamless ecosystem. So he switched over to us. He told me he's never in his life had visibility in his business. And he didn't know that a company like a small auto repair company could. He's like, I didn't know. I just figured I make X number of dollars. I should spend this percentage of money on marketing. So I just spent X number of dollars on marketing every month, just hoping it worked. And we were profitable, so I just kind of went with it. He's like, now I know. I know what my call conversion rate is. I know what percentage of customers come back to me a second time. I know where they're coming from. I know how to actually if I need to scale my company to get more customers, I know what it takes to do so. I don't know his exact numbers, but I know it's profitable. So I know that if his average ticket is, let's say, $450, that it's going to cost him $150 or $300 to bring somebody in. And then he knows the percentage of those people that actually come back a second, third, fourth, fifth time, which ultimately allows him to build his business with the same type of scalability that Samsung, Microsoft, Apple can build their businesses with. Because that's what every business owner wants to find, is an ability to scale, right? They don't want to get stuck in a position where I built this big business, I have all these employees, and now I realize that I can't scale my company. So I've done that, and it's hard. It's hard to pull the brakes when you do that. Yes?
Maybe not the company like this local, but on the Hoverboard company you're talking about, will they use multiple marketing teams?
Great question. So I'm going to switch to Hoverboard next, and then we can walk through that. Is there any other questions that you have about small business marketing? Small business marketing. Yeah.
Well, okay, so you keep talking about this product, right? But I'm having a hard time understanding what the actual product is other than
Great.
services.
So here's what the product does. I'm talking about the Kukui product because that's what we built this on. So we call it the all-in-one success platform. I say we, but I'm kind of a distant part of the company at this point. This is our back-end dashboard. When a customer logs into the back-end dashboard, they control their website, their phone calls, their amount of money that comes in, their postcards, their emails, their text messages, everything in one place, total visibility. It says here, customize online marketing, so you can see like Google+, Bing, Yelp, Facebook. Then optimize conversion rate, so we're figuring out what converts, what doesn't, and we get better and better and better and better for that customer. A customer relationship management system, so you can send emails, postcards, all the different things that's going to keep your customers engaged with you. Then revenue tracking, you want to know how much money did my marketing make me, and how much money will I make next month, next season, next year, based on the marketing I've done right now. And then search engine marketing, like I showed you, when I typed in VW Auto Repair in Monterey, you saw that Kevin from Pacific Motor Service was on 3 places. AdWords, on the map, and on the page. Email marketing and retention to keep people engaged. And our product is really a higher dollar product than most software as a service companies because of the dedicated marketing director. So not only do you buy the platform from Kukui, Kevin from Pacific Motor Service, he can call his dedicated marketing representative that will walk him through any desires or changes he has that he wants to see. Does that answer your question a bit? And I use Kukui as an example. I mean, I don't think any of you have a small business that you're going to buy the platform. It's more about using this as an example of what we've done for our customers and how we've marketed ourselves. Yes?
You don't share the customer's information.
Yeah, so there's obviously certain levels of confidentiality in our terms and conditions and certain privacy clauses. Yes?
Because you said you can access bank accounts.
Well, we aren't taking payments online, although I've built a lot of e-commerce sites and companies. So there's lots of things in place to protect people when it comes to payment collection. Yeah, that are technology driven. Did you have another question? Anybody have a question on small business marketing? Yes.
What platforms like, do you market on multiple platforms like Twitter, Instagram, and stuff? And which ones do you find to have like the most return, least effective?
It depends what kind of business. It depends. So location, type of business, reach, budget. So I can't tell you, like, the main platforms today are going to be YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram. You're gonna have a hard time, LinkedIn, to those 6. You're gonna have a hard time with anything overcoming those 6. Other alternatives would be like SlideShare to share presentations, Pinterest, Vine, Tumblr. So there's lots and lots of platforms, and some will rise and some will fall. I mean, I started using social media before it was called that. I remember when Dig was around, right? Way before MySpace, and then MySpace came, and then Facebook came. Facebook's done really well though. They've stayed the course and been able to continue to serve their customer base regardless of all the crazy ups and downs that have happened. As far as businesses, it depends. Is it a service, a product? Do they have a budget? But I've done a tremendous amount of marketing on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. Those are probably like the main ones that I've really focused on. But it just depends on the type of business. So if you gave me a business as an example, I could tell you how I might go through the process of trying to do marketing.
Well, I saw you, like, your contracting
Sure.
website. I work in real estate.
Okay.
That's kind of like, I'm marketing on different platforms right now, but like actually transferring those into like tangible like, leads, I guess.
Okay, so you work in real estate. So I'll show you an example of one of my companies called uRealty. So I started uRealty in 2010-ish with Kukui, and then we started these 2 companies together, and then we decided that we were just going to do Kukui, so we put uRealty on ice. Then I started uRealty again in 2013, and then I started Guerrilla Branders and some other things, and I basically stopped doing it again. Poor uRealty never gets any of my love and attention. But we had crazy things happen with social media. So with social media, we've gotten 500,000 or so followers on let's see, we have 46 social media sites for uRealty. So there's 20 on Facebook, 20 on Twitter, and then there's 6 additional ones. So not only do we have 500,000 followers amongst them, or several 100,000, we also have had a bunch of stuff go viral. So all of these infographics that I launched in 2013, they all went viral. They all kind of filled up the news feeds for real estate. And so I found that creating really great content for real estate that is very specific, and then, like, I'll give you an example. Let's say we want to take real estate statistics. So what you have here is you have a video that's on YouTube, and this has gotten about 100,000 views. You have this really long informational kind of infographic. You have some shares from our site, but mostly it went viral outside of our site. You then have this, which is for Facebook to pull for their imagery. It's the right size. Then you have a short snippet on it. You have a way for people to be able to embed it inside of their blogs. And then you have this really long blog. And then you have a slide share. I think it's got like 30,000 views. So this is an example. So if you wanted to reverse engineer some of the things that we've done on urealty.com, that may be a good thing as an example of how we did national marketing really well. But you could take some examples of what my team did here, and you could just basically break it down. Like, you could literally take my 5 infographics, pick your favorite infographic. Like, let's just say that out of all of them, your favorite one is buying and selling real estate. And so you take it, you strip all the 2013 info, you get the 2016 relevant info, and you get ready for it to go live January 15th. And you make it just for the San Francisco Bay Area, or just for California. And all of a sudden you have this really relevant piece of content that even your competitors will share with your prospects. So that I leveraged Twitter and Facebook mostly, but then I had the infographic live on Pinterest, the video live on YouTube, and the PowerPoint live on SlideShare. And then there's quite a bit of other activity that happened on other sites. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions on local small business marketing? Does anybody here have a family business? So what's your family business?
My mom owns a bar.
Owns a bar?
Yeah.
Okay, and tell me a bit about your mom's bar. Name of the bar, and tell me a bit about it.
It's called Fiasco. It's a rock bar, heavy metal bar in Oslo, Norway.
Cool.
opened in 1989. Pretty successful.
Yeah.
Not really doing anything with marketing because it's such a local, what's the word? Position or placement.
Right. Okay, well, you have to let me know about it. My wife has toured, we've done 4 albums, and we've toured Asia and Europe and the States, so we should come to Norway and play at your rock and roll bar. Done a couple hundred concerts around the world, that'd be fun. So, really, you should let me know where that's at, because we're gonna tour again. You said family business?
Yeah, it's my grandparents, my dad, and my uncles, the whole family. They own dealerships.
Okay, like auto dealerships?
Yeah.
Okay, dealerships plural, how many dealerships?
13.
Okay, and are they all in the same location or same geographic location?
Yeah, they're all like in and out.
Where at?
In France.
France. Cool. I need a new car. Can I come to France?
They sell Volkswagen.
There you go. And your parents and you said aunts and uncles?
Yeah, my grandfather started it.
Okay.
And then my father and my twins.
Okay. Great. Yeah.
Co-business.
What kind?
Co-business.
Okay.
They bought coal from like a coal mining place, like those people, some workers
Yeah.
in China dig the coal.
Right.
Took the coal from the ground and then they sell it to the unlike my stepdad is purchasing the coal from the coal mining ground.
Right.
And then sell it to the factories, manufacturers.
Okay, so coal, really, you guys are buying the coal that's produced out of the ground, selling it to the manufacturers that ultimately are going to create a product, wholesale it to retailers. Right, okay. Any other family businesses in the room? Yes.
Commercial real estate development.
Okay, and so what's the company?
Ocean Properties.
And where's it located?
Based in San Diego, but all the properties are in like Palm Springs and Palm Desert.
Okay, got it. And it's family business like your parents own it, or? Okay. How many employees?
It's relatively small. It's like 20 full-time. The rest are contractors.
Okay. How many employees does your family business have?
I don't.
Just guess, yeah.
I don't really know because I don't want to talk too much about my.
Well, I'll come back to you because maybe you guys know. So how many folks do you think probably work at the bar?
18, 3 at a time.
Okay. And then for your 13 locations, it's got to be a ton, right? Yeah, okay. Any other family businesses? Yes.
My dad's a surfboard shaper.
Nice. And what's the name of the company?
It's their last name, Shoppers at Shopper Hawaii.
Cool.
Based out of Hawaii.
Which island?
Oahu.
Nice. Yeah, I love Oahu. Family, some of my uncle and aunts, they have places there, so I go and it's fun. Done a lot of fun things. Anybody else have family business? Yeah? No? Yes?
So my mom has a jewelry company.
Say it again?
Jewelry company.
Jewelry.
And my father has a restaurants.
Okay. And where are they located?
Many places.
Okay. Just all over?
No, all over. Only in China.
In China.
Some
Okay.
cities.
Yeah, great.
My family has a real estate business in the city,
Okay, which is here in the city?
here in the city.
What's it called?
It's Little Operation. They have several operations because they do both commercial and just housing.
Yeah.
So, they have real operation and the operation depends if it's under commercial or not.
Great. Is it big? Are there a lot of employees and contractors?
Yes, that's been going on for like 30 years.
Okay,
so.
yeah, that's established. Cool. Back there?
My family is a startup tech company.
Okay.
In the city, where it kind of combines both fashion and artificial intelligence.
Okay, got it. And is it really new or is it kind of established and there's folks working there? And
Well, there's like 80 people, but on there it's a platform they developed, and they have 2,000 brands on there, and like they work with all like the big designer brands of the time. So the app hasn't launched, but for the security side, they are already like working with brands and stuff.
okay, cool. Yeah.
What's the name of it?
Golden Sphere.
Sorry?
Golden Sphere.
Golden Sphere. Yeah.
I have a question.
Sure.
Like, why doing business comes out difficult?
Why is business difficult? Well, business is like anything that is great victory and great struggle. So I don't know if anything is harder than marriage. So the hardest business that you'll ever start is a partnership with a spouse, because it's two people coming together, making a lifetime commitment to one another to build a business called this family name, right? And you're going to face tremendous trials, health, financial, potentially, emotional, and there's all sorts of things that can come against a marriage. It's what's the most rewarding as well. And no, hold on. And that is the ultimate picture of a business. Okay. Now, a business is a much lesser version of starting a family, because ultimately you usually are bringing founding employees together or bringing a partner together, and none of you are making a lifelong covenant. Like, nobody's standing before all their family and friends and saying, I am committed to this business with these founding employees forever, and I will never turn my back on them. And you're just saying, like, hey, let's try to make some money together, right? Let's just see what happens. Let's throw some mud against the wall and see what comes. But it is just as hard, if not harder, because there's no long-term commitment that's going to make you stick. So, businesses just have a hard time. It's just, there's a high failure rate. And that's why I try to explain to people, because I've started a lot of different organizations. Very few have been successful. I've had a couple really cool things happen, which I'm grateful for. But I've always said the same thing, that if you are the founding team with me, that I tell that founding team, like, we're going to have the hardest time ever starting this company. You're going to have more fun starting this company than you ever knew you could have in business. Like, you didn't even know that that you were allowed to have this much fun. But the company, if it's successful, it will outgrow you. So prepare your heart not to be hurt when you end up quitting because you're not happy anymore, or when you end up being fired or laid off because things have changed. That's the hard truth of a business that's different than a family. You never sit down with your children and say, hey, it's probably not going to work out for you. I'm guessing between 11 and 12, you're out, because I don't want to deal with teenagers. I mean, you don't say that, and that's not a reality. You have this long-term commitment in the family business, building that organization of a family. But in just any everyday business, it ebbs and flows. So the way that you think of business growing is it starts with a movement. So a movement is that startup phase. There's that idea guy, or there's those idea people, and they're like, let's do this thing, we can make $1 billion business. Or what I really love seeing with the generation right now is, let's start this thing and change the world. Like, let's do business for good. Let's make a B corporation, and let's be a low profit company. And sure, if we're really successful, we can all make great 6-figure salaries, but let's build a business to impact the world in a positive way. Let's make it more about money, because money won't make us sick. Let's do something that actually is emotionally charging our soul so that we stay the course in the business. And so there's different motivations around starting a movement, but it is a movement. And a business is similar to any other movement. It's all the same thing. You don't have any idea what's going on. You work crazy hours. It's really, really hard. It's really fun. And then eventually that movement transitions and it becomes organized, right? So this is the originator over here. This is the startup. So that's kind of this phase. And then through that phase, then you transition over to a memorial. Right? No, monument. So this is a monument. Now all of a sudden it goes from movement to monument, or you could say this is where the organizers come in. This is like an established corporation. And then eventually this transitions over to a museum where the operators I don't know how to spell operators. I'm really bad at spelling, so forgive me for that. And this is basically, let's say it's a Fortune 500. Now, there are people that live in these spaces. Okay, so there are people that they come into an organization after it started. It's a movement. They have some originator type skills. They kind of like the startup environment, but they didn't think of it and start it in their house. Like, these are my 4th or my 8th employees at my companies. And then they transition through when it becomes a monument, when it's a real organization, a real corporation, because some people have the originator, organizer thing going. And so when all the founding employees quit because it's not fun anymore, or all the founding employees are invited to leave, laid off, fired, their contracts aren't renewed, however you want to say it, when that happens to them because the company outgrew them, these other folks, they last, right? And they can make it in a corporation. And then there's the people that are true operators. And these people only have a job because 1, 2, 3 generations back, there was an originator that had a vision. Has anybody been to a castle? Castle? Yeah. It takes 1 to 500 years to build a castle. So what that means is that there was a king, and the king had a vision. And the king said, I have an idea. Let's start a castle. King never got to live in the castle, never got to enjoy the castle. Even his son and maybe his grandchildren didn't enjoy the castle, but sometime down the road, 100, 500 years later, the castle was complete. That's the whole idea of building this massive, what I would call a museum, right, or memorial. It's kind of this dead, soulless business, Fortune 500 corporation. You can have entrepreneurial things happen inside of it. These big, memorials can kind of give birth to movements inside of them. But this is where the span of business goes. So movement, monument, museum, originator, organizer, operator, startup, corporation, enterprise. If you can find out where you land here, it's really going to help you figure out what you're going to do moving forward as you become an employee. Does anybody want to be an entrepreneur in this room? Not because it's cool, but because you can't work for anybody else and you're absolutely convinced you're going to start your own thing? Yes? What would you start?
A solar company.
Okay, so tell me about it.
Just like providing solar alternatives to businesses and homes.
Okay. And so, do you have any background in solar?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. And give me, project 2, 10 years. Give me an idea, if things go well, I don't face too many hurdles, I'd love to see this happen in my career and be a part of a team that starts a solar company or start it myself, or walk me through.
Essentially, I'd like to work somewhere in a solar company to gain that experience, and then eventually go off and do my own thing, maybe with a team, maybe on my own. Still not sure, but essentially that's the plan I have right now.
Awesome. Anybody else want to start? Go ahead. Coal business. So start something that for the stuff you learned from your family.
Because Chinese situation is like this. The central Chinese government decreased the amount of coal use because it's not beneficial for our environment. But coal still is stands out as a major a source, energy source.
Right.
Because other resource like natural gas, it costs 3 times over the coal.
Okay.
So that's a reason why China doesn't want to really use other resource, but they are trying to plan on using
right.
resource.
Cool. Anybody else interested in starting a business here? Okay, how many of you want to get your bachelor's degree and be done with school? How do you want to get your master's degree? In your mind, you're definitely getting your master's degree. Yeah? So, one thing to be aware of, especially you since you want to be an entrepreneur, is, and this is not across the board, but master's degrees make you phenomenal employees inside of a corporation or inside of an enterprise. I rarely see people with a master's degree out of college that are like, dude, I'm ready to go take massive risks and go bankrupt and lose my relationships because I want to start a business. This is going to be fantastic. That's really not normal. It's like, no, I have $150,000 of student debt, and I've learned how to be inside of a system, and I've learned how to like do what I'm asked and get things done, and I can go make a 6-figure salary right now because I spent so much time in school, and that really is kind of the course of what happens. So just be aware that if you have no entrepreneurial desire, but you do desire to get a master's degree and like really go far in education, that does make a lot of sense. If you have a very strong entrepreneurial desire, but you also desire to do school stuff, then like in that case, I would say probably try to start things now. Like try to get internships at startup companies and see if it's really true that you really are an entrepreneur and that you're willing to take the risk. Entrepreneurs constantly take risks. The ones that are for the rest of their life, they gain and lose millions of dollars. You know, they gain. It's a very extreme lifestyle for folks. I'm gonna wrap pretty soon. And is anybody? We've talked about small business marketing. We've talked about software marketing. I'm going to talk about Hoverboard for 1 second because it's such a cool product. So Hoverboard, I guess let me just show this video. Let's see if it's going to work.
How do you engineer an experience? When you strip away everything weighing you down, holding you back, you begin to float away, weightless, hovering. This is the Hoverboard, the essence of pure motion, captured, refined, and reinvented. The Hoverboard translates your will into motion. A single point of contact with the ground minimizes friction and frees your movement from a linear path. Inside, precision sensors and electronics smooth and stabilize your ride, gently accelerating in whichever direction you lean. The controls are intuitive. Gently apply pressure to one end of the board to accelerate. Lean gently to one side or the other to turn in that direction. When you stop, you can set the board down on its side to dismount. The electric motor powers a top speed of 20 miles per hour, perfectly balancing safety with efficiency at every turn.
In my first company, I had to figure out some way to pack all of the control electronics and the drive electronics into the motor itself. I succeeded in doing that, and we called the product the Smart Motor. That really poised me perfectly for making the ultimate personal electric vehicle.
The Hoverboard moves you, but it's also a part of you, with endless personalization options to make your hoverboard a perfect fit for you. Built-in speakers pair with your smartphone, giving you the perfect soundtrack for your daily commute or weekend joyride. Onboard lighting gives you visibility at night, letting you ride a cloud of light to your destination. The Hoverboard is perfectly balanced in both form and function. It's fully electronic, whisper quiet, and amazingly efficient. The high-capacity battery takes you 15 to 20 miles on a single charge. And the best part, it's not just an idea. We are riding the experience today.
So that's Hoverboard, and you asked about multiple companies working together. So I met Robert Bidler, the guy, I say he's a mix between Doc from Back to the Future and Elon Musk. He's just this mad scientist with this passion for electric vehicles. And he built a really successful company called Animatics, sold it for 8 figures, did well, retired for a few months, and was like, I gotta do something more, and I really want to build this product that will allow me to, commute and enjoy the outside world. So what happened is he built the Hoverboard, and he came to me a year and a half ago with a CAD drawing. And I remember looking at the CAD drawing on his computer, and I thought to myself, this is why I started Guerrilla Branders. This is exactly what I want to do. And so from there, we decided the name Hoverboard. He's like, should I call it Leviscate because it doesn't really float? I'm like, well, you own hoverboard.com. It'd be a shame not to just call the company Hoverboard Technologies. And it feels like you're hovering, and it kind of looks like you're hovering, so we'll get away with it. And we came up with the slogan, Ride the Experience, and we started figuring out what's the story, what's the personas, and who would actually buy this product. Then we brought in our friends that could be photographers. So this is, let's see if I can click out of this. So my friend Aaron Blumenschein took this photo of Neva and the Hoverboard. Our friends at Glass and Marker helped create the video. Friends at Zoomio Design helped create this design. We have a bunch of other folks that are on staff that are technologists and designers and content creators and marketers and video producers that did these projects with them. But I probably brought in a handful of different agencies to make sure that we got the very, very best option that we could all work together on this project. And so it is a fun site, and you know, you kind of have this guy going across the screen. So I've sat here for like a long time, going back and forth. So you know, warning: don't go to hoverboard.com or you'll get stuck there and miss your next class. So this was a really fun project. It's a national project, international stuff has happened. I mean, Facebook and Yelp wanted us to come do demos there, and USA Today did a big article. He went over to New York and did a bunch of demos at Tumblr's headquarters and Mashable's headquarters, and like it's been a really fun project. And it's been cool to see it go from a CAD drawing to an aluminum piece of metal they brought to my office last year, and I'm like, it's really going to happen, to a product that we can actually write. Yeah.
And so the company is based here?
It is based in Mountain View, and the company is basically just a bunch of baby boomers, which is kind of funny. You walk in, everything like it's this really cool young hip place, but it's not. It's all these like guys that have built the last company with Robert that are really great at electronics, and then he's outsourced all of his youthfulness to the gorillas and other folks. Yeah.
Do you know when the board is going to be?
So the board is being written now. I mean, you could go to Mountain View and demo the board potentially, and he's selling it right now. The pre-sales are happening. It's very expensive though, so it's not a product that most folks will be able to buy. The price range is $3,000 to $4,000, which is a lot of money. Now, if you consider a jet ski is $8,000 to $10,000, or a Segway is $8,000 to $10,000, maybe it's not that expensive. But what was that?
I thought it was going to be a lot more.
Well, fantastic. You should come help us market the board. Yes.
It's probably not the same target market as the
One wheel?
What's that?
One wheel or boosted board.
People are like riding all over the place.
Yeah, there's the two-wheel hoverboards. Yeah, no, totally different target market. So it's it's just it's a product that either it's going to make it, hoverboard is going to make it and change mobility, or hoverboard is going to inspire other companies, like Chinese companies that will come out with a similar type of product for cheaper. But at some point, this company, what he's created here, will definitely affect the world. Nobody's ever invented anything like this before. It's a total different product from anything that's ever been made. And for him, he has a place in San Francisco. He can go from the Bay Bridge all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, what is that experience like to be on a product like this with your son? His son's like 13, so now his dad's the coolest person in the whole world. And what is that like for a father and son to jump on a couple hoverboards and actually experience the Embarcadero that way on a product that people have never had a chance to ride? So I saw another hand right here. I'm gonna come back to you in a minute.
I thought it was gonna be more expensive too.
All right, the two of you come to Mountain View, demo this bad boy, and we'll have you tell the story.
How much is what is the average lifetime of this product? Because I mean,
Great question. So he's built it like Tesla, in the sense that it's a product that is built to be upgraded. So whenever something new happens, you can get the new software and upgrade your product, or you can get the new hardware, and the whole thing has one type of screw. So when you look at this image on the top, you can see it's like 100 parts that open up. And so anybody can open up the board themselves and update and change the board. He also has a developer, SDK developer kit, so that you can actually change the whole programming as well in the board. So I'm really excited about what this company is doing. It's been a fun passion project for me and the rest of the gorillas over at the office. Did you have a question? No. Okay. So I am going to wrap really quick. Go ahead. You had a question?
So I just have hoverboard.com.
Yeah.
It will be
that.
same.
Yeah, this is the hoverboard.com site.
So do you know when it will come out?
Yeah, so basically the boards are going to be delivered this summer 2016. Like that's kind of our first round of delivery. But we have boards right now at the office. People are coming to our office to do demos and things like that. I want to ask, is anybody interested here in how you do your personal marketing, personal branding? Like, is that of interest to this class? Because I've talked about small business marketing and branding. I've talked about product, service, software and product. I didn't talk about anything around marketing yourself. Is that of interest to this class? Yes? So, go ahead.
Do you work with individuals? I know you work with like a lot of companies, but do you ever market individuals?
Yeah, I do. So let me use Robert Bigger as an example. Okay, so Robert had really no LinkedIn profile. And he didn't know how to tell his story. And I said, well, let's give me a chance to tell your story. Like, let's actually tell your story right, because people are going to judge Hoverboard based on what you tell about yourself. So we took a photo of Robert, and we came up with like this personal bio: automation and electric vehicle passioneer, inventor of smart motor and hoverboard, founder of Animax and Equalia. And then you have the summary that kind of tells all the amazing awards and things that he's done. You have some imagery to kind of give your eye a break from all the text. And then you have him as the inventor of hoverboard. And then his commencement speech at San Jose State University, where him and his wife graduated and started his first company out of. We got him a speaking engagement at the Feast. Not that we got that for him. We introduced him to Jerry, who runs the Feast, which is the Feast is kind of like what I consider to be the next generation's TED Talks, and a bunch of interviews that he could place. We then showed the founder of Equalia, which is his incubator in his building, and then Moog, which he sold, or Animax, which he sold to Moog. And you kind of just kind of tell this story for him, right? So this is how I would tell a story for an executive. So this is one example of that. So the answer is yes. Yes, I do help people tell their own story. It's easiest for me to show you what I posted for mine because it's the thing I know best. But you can reference Ian Utile on LinkedIn as an example of how to tell your story. Not that I do it perfectly, but I've put some energy into it. I do it for other people, so I feel pretty good about the way I structure things. So you can kind of see the Times Square in the back, because that represents the products and brands I've been working on lately. You can see I wrote an article about what I learned building Kukui, kind of a summary, and me telling a video story. And then I have in there the companies that I'm building. Now, one thing you'll notice about this when you go to this page is that I have a short bio that's readable, and then a couple recommendations, and then imagery. And then the next thing, same thing. So you'll find as you go down my page, nobody's going to get exhausted. Well, first of all, nobody's going to really care what I write about myself. Nor will they care what you write about yourself. It's just there for social proof. It's just there so that when people check you to reference you, they actually see, oh, he actually is who he says he is. She is who she says she is. I should hire this person. I should be a partner with this person. I should launch a company with this person. But what you'll see when you go through it is that I have the imagery which breaks up the eye, so people don't get their like eyes exhausted if they did want to go through here for some reason. So there you go. So that's an example of personal branding. I want to wrap our time together, so I'm not going to go through much, but I'm happy to answer questions on how to market yourself if anybody has a question on that specifically. Cool. So anybody else have just an open-ended question? Just anything at all? Yeah.
This is really open-ended, but how do you even from day one start a business? Obviously there's different businesses, but how do you even go about say the hoverboard, creating the design? That just seems so complicated.
Yeah, Hoverboard's not really a duplicatable process because he has money and he's started businesses before. So let's talk about HandSnap. So HandSnap is my friend Justice, and he was crowd surfing a year and a half ago, and he's in a metal band, and he's like, I have to capture this moment. This sucks that I'm here with these people, and we're connected, and I'm screaming, and they're holding me up in the air, and I need to share this with the world. He's like, I'm not going to hold my phone. I'll drop my phone. So this is like the prototype number 10, right? So he first built this thing that attached his phone to his wrist, and it just got more and more and more complicated over time. And so for him, how did he start a business? He had an idea, he built a product, showed it to his friends. So he was like, that's awesome. You should I want one. And then people kept asking for them, and he thought, you know what? Maybe I should get a few family friend investors so I can actually build this product out, build it right, get the right designers, soft goods, hard good designers, right distribution, right manufacturing, and launch a Kickstarter page. So he just launched his Kickstarter page a few days ago. And so I've taken him to Kickstarter to meet with the team there as well as Hoverboard. And so, his goal is $10,000. He has 21 days left, and he's at $7,600. So he'll make his goal, and then he'll start delivering product. And I do think all of you should go buy a HandSnap. They're only $20, and it'll change your life. And if not, it's Justice's fault. So that's one way to start a company. Another way to start a company is to meet somebody like I met Ryan at Kukui, and to sit down and start dreaming together. So what did Ryan and I do? He had some assets and some things. I had some assets and some things. We both had things we were coming into the idea of starting a business with together. And basically, I just said, well, let's go kind of dream together. So we went and saw the Social Network, and that was inspiring to kind of think about starting something and building something great. We went to the Apple Developer Conference. We went and saw Tron. Movies inspired us, obviously. And after kind of having lots of conversations, we said, like, let's start this. So we started eRealty, and then we ended up going and doing Kukui instead with the same software. How did I start Guerrilla Branders? I was at my house, and I had a friend, and he wanted to build a new company, and I had another handful of people that wanted to, and so we just started playing around and doing some marketing projects for folks. And that turned into having consistent clients, and then we got an office, and then people started getting paid, and then we built a company together. With founding employees, over time, Guerrilla Branders grew. We backfilled with more people that were organizers, that wanted to build a corporation, and the folks that were more originators, that wanted to be at a startup, ended up either quitting, or when things got difficult, money got tight because it's a service company, we ended up doing a layoff. And so I experienced that in a very accelerated rate. And so that's another way to start. You just kind of start it. You just start to say, hey, who wants to buy my services? So in my case, I wanted to sell my marketing services to people. So I wanted to find people that would do it. Now, I'm going to give these as handouts to finish. And this is nothing more than, this is not even active anymore. This is not what we do. But it was the very first thing I created when I started Guerrilla Branders. I knew that I couldn't just say, we do projects for like $10,000 to $50,000 a project, and we charge like $5,000 to $20,000 a month if you want us to be your outsourced marketing team. Like, well, what does that mean? What do you actually do? So I productized it, and I basically made it a product that's a service. So maybe you guys can just hand these out on these two sides. This is nothing more than a reference. We don't actually charge this price point or do these exact things anymore. It was just the very first thing I made at Guerrilla Branders because I knew that I couldn't just be a service company. I needed to have some price points and some deadlines and some terms around what we do. So the whiteboard pens you can keep as well, and the business card with the Times Square thing you guys can keep, or whatever. But you're welcome to. I brought them as examples of branding and marketing. So these business cards are an example of doing like very personalized marketing. I did this on moo.com. Best place to do any sort of printing that's custom is Moo, M-O-O, in my opinion. These brochures I did at gotprint.net, Gotprint.net. Gotprint.net, in my opinion, is the best quality, cheapest price for printing massive quantities. The pens, I can't remember where we got them. The CEO that I hired for Guerrilla Branders ordered them, but I like them and I thought I'd bring them and share them with you. So any other open-ended questions before we wrap up? So then let me end with this final thing. There we go. So you have to have your reason. You have to have your reason. Like, what is your reason? Like, why are you coming to school? Why are you getting a degree? Why are you working one or two jobs? Why are you going to go serve somebody else's vision? Why are you going to, what is your reason in life? You know, and if it's yourself, if you look in the mirror and you say, I'm my reason, it will not sustain you. That will eat you alive if you're your own reason. If you're self-absorbed, it will eventually, everything will fall apart. You are not worth fighting for. You're not worth yourself fighting for. Just that's not enough. You have to have more of a reason than that. And it helps to have other people that you care about, whether that is a partner that you're doing something with, or it's a community, a tribe, a group of friends, or it's family that is your family that you look up to, or family that, in my case, that I've had, like my boys. Like, what is the legacy, right? And are you building a castle? I mean, that's a real question to ask yourself as you're in school. Are you building a castle? Or are you just building things? You building sandcastles that you can build in a day and will go away tomorrow? Or is there any pursuit in your life that you'll never finish in life, but it's so important and it has such a sense of legacy to you that you're going to do it? You're going to serve on that nonprofit board. You're going to go and do something that's meaningful, that's going to last beyond your life, beyond what you're going to see. Because it's only in this generation that anybody in this room can do whatever you want. No generation has been like you. No generation ever. Ever. You have more at your disposal than anybody in the past, ever. You're smarter, you have more technology, you have more network, you have more ability, more access to money, more access to people. There's nothing that can stop you. Go ahead.
All of this means also a lot more competition.
That's true.
So,
And competition will help you be better. Why are football players and baseball players so much better today than ever before? Because we have an international pool of athletes that have come and risen the competition level so that everybody is better. But the big thing for you to ask yourself is, what are you going to school for? What are you learning economics or marketing for? When you get a job, when you pursue a career, what are you doing it for? You know, because nothing, like money doesn't matter. I've made so much money. I've made so little money in my life. It's crazy. And it's this, like this is what really matters. A legacy. It doesn't have to be children. Some of you may never want to have kids. That's fine. It doesn't have to be family, but it has to be something. Something that you are striving to build a legacy for. This will sustain you when nothing else will. And school's going to come and go, then you're going to go on to a new season. And then you're going to go on to career, and you're going to have other things that happen. So just think legacy. And especially when about marketing, don't let marketing become a thing in your mind that it's okay to assault people with a message just to manipulate them, to get them to buy something or do something that maybe they should not buy or do in the first place. Marketing is an ability to sell to a lot of people at once, something that hopefully is really good for them. Thank you for having me. It's been fun, and appreciate the opportunity.